Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to react to this impactful video I discovered on YouTube, and I want to share it with you. Is the reason I want to react to this content. I'm going to share my screen real quick. As you can see it, here you go. Let's go and react to this video.
I'm just going to get right to the point because I want to keep this video my point. The point is this. If you're in a classroom and there are people in your class and you feel like you are behind those people, you feel like there is no way that you could become as good as they are, then the point is that it only takes weeks, 2 weeks. You could do it in 2 weeks. And so let me explain this, because this was actually a comment that someone made in a room I was in many years ago. There was this math professor who I didn't really know, and he was talking to a student who I didn't really know. The conversation went something like this. The student was feeling like, they were behind, and the professor was saying, well, when students feel that way, I always tell them, you're really only 2 weeks behind. You might think that you can't catch up to them. You might think that you can't be as good as they are. You might think that you can't improve your mathematics to get to the level where they are because they're succeeding and maybe you're not. But the reality is it only takes 2 weeks. And so I left the room and I thought about it. And it didn't make any sense. I mean, how is this guy going to know that it only takes 2 weeks? Right? Because different people are at different levels. So how does this comment make any sense at all? People say things all the time. So why is this true? And so here's the rationale. When you are in a classroom in college, and I'll just use the US as an example, but it's probably true in most places in the world. If you're in a classroom, there's usually some requirement that is needed for you to be there. For example, in the US, when you go to college, you take some entrance exam and they place you in a class. They say, okay, you can go into college algebra. Okay, you're really good at math. We can put you in calculus. There's a placement test, and people always criticize these tests and they criticize the system, and that's fine, you can criticize it. But there exists some sort of placement where people are put into classrooms. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there is a system. And so by some sense, everyone in that class is somehow supposed to be equal. But we all know that's not true, right? Different people have different abilities, different talents, different intellects. But the system puts us all in this place. And so the rationale is that if you work hard enough, within 2 weeks, you should be able to catch up. And I agree. I think it's possible. I think it's possible now, after years of just reflecting on the statement and thinking it was just bogus. I think you can do it, because think about it. Everyone is roughly equal. If I think of all the students that I've had in all the classes I've ever taught, and I think about some of the worst students, like the students that they were just really bad. I've had some that had really, really bad issues with math, some that were just not very good. And then I look at the best students. Could these students who were really bad actually catch up and get the same grade on the test as one of the good students? Absolutely yes. Absolutely. Definitely 100%. I know, because I would make the tests. I know that if they knew X, Y, and Z, they could get a 100% on the test. And I would go over stuff in class and I would teach everything and explain everything. So in theory, if they could learn everything I was teaching, they could get a 100% every single time. They just actually had to learn it, which takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. And for some people, learning those things is actually going to take more time because they're so behind. But you could do it in 2 weeks. You could definitely do it. In fact, it might even take a week. The real question is, how bad do you want it? Especially if you're in a situation where your math is really bad. I mean, let's use let's use algebra as an example. Let's say you're really bad at algebra and you're trying to get better and you're in a class and you're not doing well, right? And there's people in your class that are doing well. Well, maybe they had algebra before in high school. Maybe they saw it before. Maybe their parents are math teachers, whatever. The only thing you can do in situations like that is just work harder and really just grind. You have to grind and grind and grind, and you can do it. So I just wanted to make this short video to indicate that I think it's possible. I really do. I think that if you're in a classroom and you're in a bad situation and you're not doing well, you can pull yourself out of that situation if you work really hard, and you just have to grind. One idea is to just do every single homework problem multiple times. This is what I did. I was obsessed. I would do so many math problems. And that's all I did, on weekends too. People would go to school, they'd do their homework, they'd finish it, they'd go out with their friends. No, I didn't do that. Right? I didn't do that. I just stayed home on weekends and studied every afternoon after class. It's about how bad you want it. So it's possible. So if you're in a class and you're failing and you're thinking, oh, can I still pass? Don't think that way. It's not about passing. It's about getting 100. Aim to be the best. Aim to score a perfect score, because if you aim high and you miss, you're probably still going to do pretty well. 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks is all it takes. You really can do it. You really can do it. And I thought about this guy's comment for years because I was thinking 2 weeks. It doesn't make sense from the perspective of, okay, you might have this friend who's in another math class. Like say you're in algebra and your friend is in calculus 3. No, you're not going to be able to catch up to him in 2 weeks, right? But if you're in the same class and you're comparing yourself to another student in your class, and that student is getting A's and you're getting F's, you can actually rise from the ashes and do better and get an A on the next test. I've seen people do it. They completely change their study habits. They go from not taking notes, skipping class, to going to class every day, asking questions, doing all the homework, going to office hours, asking questions multiple times. Don't be afraid to be annoying. A lot of students, I feel like they're lost in class and they're scared to ask questions. I used to be that way. Don't be like me, right? It's funny, I'm telling you not to be like I was, but it's good advice because that's something that I should have done. Do I have regrets? No, because I don't believe in regrets. Regrets accomplish nothing. All you can do is the present and hope that it affects your future, because that's all we have control over is the present. So it's possible. Pick yourself up and work harder. You could do it. I mean, you could do it. It's mathematics, and it applies to other subjects as well, but I have more experience with math, so I'm speaking only here of mathematics. In mathematics, if you're in an algebra class or a trig class, and let's say you're using this book here, Fundamentals of Algebra and Trig by Swakowski, great book. Pick up the book, do all the problems from this section, do all the homework, go over all of your notes. You're gonna get better. You're gonna get better. It's possible. It just takes extra work, and it's about how bad do you want it. It really comes down to that. So you should know that deep down inside you can do it. It's just a matter of, do you want to do it? A lot of times I think that people think they can't do it, and I believe they can. It's just, do they really want to? Do you really want to spend that much time doing math? I mean, there's other things in life that are important too, right? But if it matters to you, you can make the effort and you can succeed. And that's all I wanted to say in this video. I believe in the 2-week rule. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, you can catch up to a classmate if you rock it. I think that mathematician who said that, I remember his name, but I won't mention it. And I talked to him once briefly, and that's no comment. I didn't really know him, but he was right. I believe what he said. He was a smart man, and he was right. If you want to learn mathematics, I do have courses, mathsorcerer.com. Please use.
Thank you very much for this video. I think it was very interesting to listen to this video. He shared the fact that the information that you don't have to want it. You don't have to grind for it. It's just the winning. At the beginning, you don't want that, but at the end, if you are willing to have it, if you are willing to really work for it, you're going to catch it up. So I think it was a very interesting video. Thank you very much, the Math Sorcerer, for this content. And yeah, I think that we have very very huge amount of people around it.